Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and welcome to another edition of Tech Bites with Ron Nutter. This time, we're going to be getting into part 2 on how to use privacy.com to protect your smart home, or probably more accurately, your smart home purchases. And with as handy as privacy.com is, there's a couple of things that you need to consider doing, and I would strongly encourage you to add some additional layer of protection so that if somebody happens to pick up your phone, or one of the kids happens to be playing with, they don't get into something that could cause problems. There are two things you can do. With the smartphone app, you can put a pin on it. Granted, it's not maybe the best of solutions, and hopefully at some point privacy.com will extend the two-factor authentication piece to the smartphone app, and there may be a reason they can't. I'm not going to stand here and second guess them, because I'm very happy with what they have done up to this point, and I'm sure they're going to continue to make improvements over time. The other thing is protecting the website access, and that's where you can do two-factor authentication. And if you've never heard of that before, or you've heard of it but you think, oh, that's too difficult, I'm going to show you how to do it, and it's really very simple. And it's something that once you've done it with one site, you're going to do it with several of the others. So let's start off by going to the smartphone app and getting that one protected. And at this point, I'm going to pick up at a point that we're already in the smartphone app. You're already logged in. So now we'll go through and actually set up the PIN portion of it. Okay, now we're going to show you how to protect your access into privacy.com using the app. So we'll click on the little gear up here, and we'll tap on the require PIN to use the app. So I'm going to enter that right there. And also, when you do this, make sure you write it down, because the only way I know to get around this is if you don't write it down, or you write the wrong thing down, you're going to have to probably uninstall and reinstall the app, because since this is everything that I've seen on this is it's all stored locally, then the only way you're going to be able to get back in is you're going to have to delete the app on the phone and re-enter it, and you probably don't want to do that. So now we'll tap on privacy. It says, okay, enter your PIN to unlock. And you're in. So it's really very straightforward, and it's probably a good thing to do. And so you see, it's really the protecting the smartphone app. And if that's your primary way of getting into privacy.com, please use that option. PIN protection, better than nothing. And if you're like me with my Samsung S9 Plus, I've got biometrics turned on. So, I mean, it's just one additional layer of security. And before you start leaving me comments, I should use something other than 4 zeros. I did that just to make the demo easy to do, because you can get you got 9,999 possibilities. So everybody should use a different PIN, and please don't use something that's your date of birth, or a portion of your date of birth, or something that's readily identifiable to you. Now, maybe like the day you moved into the house you're at, or the state you're in. Anyway, there's more than one thing that you can do there. So now the next piece is going to be involving the website access. So at this point, we're already logged in, and all you have to do to get the process started is click on the two-factor authentication option, and it's going to pop up a screen. Now, this screen is going to be different for everybody, and this is going to be unique to me. So we'll go over the next part here, where you actually use the smartphone app to get in. It'll give you a code. You'll enter here, and you'll click enable. And if you've done everything right, it should be active at that point. And then we can go on from there. So now is going to be the fun part. I've got to switch over to the other video I did. So one's going to start up, and it's going to be a little bit of a keyboard dancer, but nothing that we can't get done. And let me switch over here. Okay, now we're going to show you how to pause that. And okay. It's going to get here in just a second, folks. It's being a little difficult with me. Oh, come on. This worked before when I tried it. And, okay. Come on. One more time for the West Coast here. There we go. Okay, well, now we will add the account. We're going to use Microsoft's Authenticator since quite a few folks seem to like using that. So we'll tap on Add Account. We'll tap on Other Account. And then we'll hold this up to the screen, and there you go. It was that easy to add. So you can see really adding two-factor authentication is very straightforward to do. This is just one example to do it. There are a host of applications to do two-factor with. So again, don't let it scare you. As you can see, it was simply that easy. And now what you want to do is enter the code you see on the screen. Now you see this little counter off here to the right. Okay, and as you can see, really, it couldn't be much easier. And I'm going to switch back here because I want to show you something, because I talk about it briefly in the video. And let's get forward to here. When you get I'll get the right piece up on the screen here. Okay, when you see that QR code, now that's something that, and I could also show you from the web page too. Do a screen capture of this on whatever computer you're using, or take your smartphone and take a picture of it and then file this in a safe place. Now, that may seem counterintuitive, but in case you change whatever app you're using for two-factor authentication, or your phone gets damaged and you've got to recreate everything, what would you rather do? Just be able to re-enter the QR codes or the secret key that you also see on there into the new app, or would you rather have to break or disable two-factor authentication on all the sites you set up, if you can remember which sites you had set up? And this is where keeping track of the different QR registration codes will make that process a lot easier if you have to recreate it, because you know what theoretically should have been in that app. And if you're using more than one app, and I do, and the reason being I've got one set up for personal sites and others set up for business sites. So I've got some distinction there. I use one app for business, one app for personal, just because that way I don't have all my eggs in one basket. So this is something very good to do, and something else that we want to make sure that we cover. And let's get back to here. We'll go back to the demo video, and I'm going to show you something here once we get it registered. Now, you'll notice this little timer right here that's at 20 seconds. Now, it starts out, see if I can roll it back here just enough. It should come out at about, okay, well, we'll just, through the magic of technology, we'll roll through. Okay, it should change about every 30 seconds. Now, I have found on occasion that if you try to enter this code right after it's changed, or when it's within about 2 seconds of it changing, it may not work. And that's because there's part of the magic sauce of two-factor authentication has to do with accurate time synchronization. So if you're more than a few seconds off, you may occasionally hit that situation that happens once in a while when it doesn't work. So just re-enter the code that's being displayed, or let the code change again, and then you should be okay. But other than that, this is something really not just on privacy.com, but you should have this enabled on all your sites that support this, because it may not be totally preventing somebody from breaking in, but it's going to make it that much harder. So if you add enough layers of it, yeah, it's one more step you have to know about, but it makes one more thing that somebody trying to break in is going to have to do, because they're not going to have the token value to work with. They're not going to have the QR code to set everything up. So that is going to just make it a little bit harder, and at least you've taken every reasonable attempt. And this is where, if you have push notifications as well as email set up within privacy.com, if somebody gets in, you'll have very close to almost real-time notification when somebody's using the account that shouldn't have. And if you want to add another layer of protection, go ahead and pause all the cards. that you're actively got set up. And that way, when you go to use it, you'll re-enable the card, do whatever transaction that you're going to need to, and then turn around and disable it. So that's, granted, that's more work, but would you rather do a little more work now or a lot more work cleaning it up after the fact? Anyway, that's what I wanted to cover this time, to show you how you can protect the privacy.com app and the website login. Thank you very much for everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. Please let me know if there's any videos that you would like to have me do. I'm always looking at new technology. Been using one for a while. I've got a little problem with it, so I've had to stop the videos on that till we can get that one figured out. And I'm working with the company's tech support, so it could be something I'm doing wrong, which is why I'm not saying who the company is, because in case it's something stupid I've done, I'm going to take the heat for it, because I don't want the company having to look bad because it's something I'm not doing right. So anyway, thank you for your time. And what you'll want to do here is, once I've got this up on YouTube, you will be able to see some other videos that I've done in this series, all the smart home technology I'm working with. So please take a look at these. Hopefully this will help you as much as it's been interesting for me to do it along the way, and as it's helped others. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk to you again soon.